This is a little bonus. You're not expecting me to be here yet. Snuck one in. Snuck one in. You may have seen on the lead up to this that we have an announcement. So the franchise show has been going for a while now, as you know, every Tuesday. And we take a topic and we have a guest and we try and add a bit of value. But we really wanted to do something a little bit different and something that helps tell a story. We're all about telling our stories, really, and it's quite an important thing to do, especially when you're a franchisor and you want to try to convey who you really are and whether someone can do business with you. There's a lot to be said in what the story is. It goes a long way. It goes well beyond the numbers. It goes beyond the face value, and it gets into something a bit deeper, a bit more personal. And I think it helps align franchisees with franchisors. It helps qualify from both sides. So what are we doing? We are launching a new show, and we're launching a new show called Franchising Brand Stories. And I've got a partner in crime here. We're not committing any crimes, I have to say. I will make but I've got the lovely Simon Wise, who's a great supporter of the franchise show, who is a fantastic recruiter for all things franchising. And we've been having conversations over the last few weeks about putting together a new show. And that new show is all about telling your story as a franchisor. So there it is. It's going to be every Thursday at 5:15, same time. So we all can get used to that. But I'm going to introduce you now. Everyone knows Simon, but I'm going to reintroduce you to Simon for him to tell you his take on it. We're only going to be about 15 minutes today. But over to you, Simon.
Thank you, H. It's great to be here, isn't it? It's great to be launching this initiative. We've been talking about it for ages, and we're finally getting it off the ground. We've got Amrit coming on with a Morfinch in a couple of days' time. But this is something. It's been in the back of my mind for many, many years, and having been a franchisee and invested in a franchise myself, the one thing that really turned me on to that brand was the story. Finding about where they are now, but how it all started and what the plans they have for the future. And it was that story that really inspired me to take the plunge, to leave my well-paid, secured job at the BFA and invest in a franchise. And I just thought, I think more franchisors need to tell their franchising brand story, because we don't do enough of it. And I think recruitment is challenging enough, and I think everybody will tell you how many prospects they've got in the funnel that don't really move anywhere. And I just think if they're better educated and they're better tuned in to the brand story, then they can take a little bit of ownership of that early on, and it just makes that recruitment process a lot easier, a lot smoother, I believe, genuinely. So listen, I mean, as I said, I've been looking for the right outlet to really promote franchising brand stories and to encourage franchisors to tell their story to a much wider audience. And I'm a great follower of the franchise show, as you know, and I just thought, this is a fantastic opportunity. And then we started to talk, and I think we've come up with a brilliant formula, which I'm hoping can have some real impact in the industry for sure. So really excited, mate, really excited, and can't wait to get started.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for that. So, I mean, each week, what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and take a franchisor on a bit of a journey. I'm a big fan of the Time Machine and Back to the Future and those types of films. And we're
going to nerd, really, aren't you? Let's be quite honest.
So, inspired by Back to the Future, perhaps we are going to go back in time, and we're going to go forward in time, and we're going to look at the present. But the way we thought we'd do this, and it's early on this, and we're going to see how people react and how this goes. But we're going to start with where people are at, and then we're going to look at where they begun, and all of the challenges and all of the stories that happen in that journey between the beginning and where they are now. And there's so many characters, so many stories, so many learnings that happen during that period of time. then it's fantastic to share that. It's going to be audience inclusive, as the franchise show is. Um, we have such a great community of franchise experts, enthusiasts, potential franchisees, franchisors, entrepreneurs, and everyone always asks really interesting, intriguing questions that generally, even without guidance and without any kind of script, just add value to a quality conversation. And there's definitely going to be some elements of that, certainly part of that middle section where we're talking about some of those challenges and characters and stories. So there's going to be a great opportunity to share your own experiences
Yeah.
of either being a franchisee or a franchisor.
Definitely. You know, how often do we hear about franchising as being a marriage and that mutual dependency? And you know, but before you get to that stage, you've got to find out about somebody's journey, haven't you? You've got to find out about it all, and that's the essence of franchising brand stories. It's not an advert for a franchise. We're getting some really inspirational people to talk us through their journey, those ups and those downs, and then why franchising, why they use franchising as a means to grow their business. You know, what type of franchisees do they have in the network? And I just think, you know, it's an exciting opportunity. I mean, how many times do people, when they show an interest in a franchise, you know, the first thing they get is this bloody great brochure that they have to wade through with all these numbers and things.
Yeah.
Think to yourself, hang on a minute. There has to be a stage before that. There has to be an opportunity to get to know the person behind the business, the founder, and find out what they're all about. Because if you can tune into that, then that makes for a much better, stronger relationship, I believe. And the whole live experience and the way you interact with the audience as well, I think it lends itself so well to that. And I think it's a great format, and I really hope that people can get something from it and can come in and ask some questions and participate and really get to discover some of these fantastic franchising brand stories that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're really right about that stage before and helping someone get to know the brand. And they then, it helps their decision as a franchisee for them to make a better, more informed decision. And it helps a franchisor to filter down that sort of top part of that process where you're speaking to a lot of people. You know, I say to every franchisee that I talk to that this is a journey of trust. This is about you and I getting to know one another and see whether we can do business with one another and whether we get on together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really important. And I often say, look, tune in to the franchise show, or now Franchising Brand Story, because it allows them the opportunity to get to know me, or get to know a guest who's telling their amazing story, get to know you and everybody within the community.
And it's in a very, what did we say? What do you always say about the franchise? The franchise show. It's a safe place, isn't it? It's a safe place to ask any questions and to get that story across. And I just think that's really, really important.
Yes, absolutely. I think that safe space. You know, as you said before, it's not going to still not going to be a space where someone is selling something to somebody else. It's a space where someone is telling a story, and imparting that information. Like you say, you know, there are many franchisors that the first stage is to send out a lengthy brochure, and that's a lot of information to absorb when you're just trying to get a feel for what might work for you, and you know how you might be aligned. And this is a great first stage for a franchisee to think, okay, well, you know, I'll check out this brand story, see how that aligns. Because of course it's going to be a body of work as well. You know, we certainly expect, even though it will follow the live format and follow a very similar feel to the franchise show, it will also become an asset for both franchisee and franchisor.
That's really important that you make that, because again, anybody that comes onto the show from a franchisor, they're creating a piece of collateral, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a marketeer, but it's something there, isn't it, that they've got, whether it's YouTube or come onto our website or whatever it may be, that they can actually say, well, look, before we start, sending you a brochure, have a listen to this. This is our brand story.
Yeah.
You're starting to build those relationships, very early on, and you want those franchisees tuned into those brand stories for sure.
Definitely. Well, look, in the spirit of welcoming and including a wonderful audience, even for our little 15-minute today, we've got some people here to say hello to. So we're definitely going to do that today. First of all, we have the lovely Omar, who does a fantastic show, who I've been on that show. It's a quiz show on LinkedIn. He also does another show where he interviews people. It's Do We Know? And I was on that as well. So if you want to find out what's under the hat, check out Omar's show.
Have you got hair under there?
We've got John here as well. Great to see you, John. I hope you're well too. Good to see you. We got Paul as well. Paul is becoming a regular supporter of the franchise show and of something that I do, which aligns with what Simon does really, but I try and help people on a Sunday. I'm not a recruiter, but I just try and help people who are looking for a job as well. So it's great to have you here, Paul, and you're a great supporter. Thanks for being here. And we're going to probably conclude with this one in our little mini show today. And we've got the lovely Mary here, Mary Waldell. Nice to have you here, Mary. Thanks for joining us. Great to meet you. She's put, hi, everyone. Greetings from a beautifully misty Cornwall. That sounds lovely. I like this new format and I will try and tune in every week. I'm a freelance copywriter who loves writing those intriguing stories. So I look forward to hearing from different franchisees and franchisors. Absolutely. And you've really captured there, Mary, what this is hopefully going to be all about. So thanks so much for joining us from the lovely Cornwall. I've been there many times, and I think it was misty when I went as well. Must be standard there. We got Kevin here. Hi, Kevin. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. We have David Sweeney. Oh, fantastic. Dojo Pizza, I believe, and that's from memory. But he's been on the show a few times in the past, obviously been traveling. I know they've got a lot of outlets all the way around the world. So fantastic to have you here. And maybe we'll hear your story one time. So great to have you here. And we'll finish up there just with...
Kevin.
He's in Devon. So we've got the competing counties on. Look, it's fantastic. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I wanted to finish up with just saying about when the show is starting. Simon mentioned that it is starting this week, and it's starting this Thursday. So that's Thursday, the 21st of March at 5:15 p.m. GMT. I think it's now 11:15 Eastern in America. But it's starting this Thursday. We have the wonderful Amrit. Everyone who's on LinkedIn, I'm sure, will know Amrit. And his story is a good one. So we've got an absolutely first-class guest to start this off. Really looking forward to seeing how you will react. I hope you will enjoy it. And as always, in 30 minutes time, we will be back again today with the franchise show. And we have the amazing Red Boswell. And it's all about jumping into franchise and jumping into franchising. So be careful if you do that.
Excellent, Harvey. Franchising brand stories.
Yay. Thank you, everybody.
I'm
See you in half an hour.